to lose with a freaking field goal.
Yeah.
Tyler Bass
And it wasn't even close, bro. I think the wind just took it, and
That's the crazy thing too. Is like when I was watching the video back, or like I was watching the highlights or whatever. If you look at like the flags for like on the top of the goalpost to see like where like the wind was, it didn't look like there was wind.
Really?
So he might have just hooked it right. But from what I've heard from like I was watching Shannon Sharp's podcast, and then I was watching Travis Kelce's podcast after, and they were saying that like when you're at the game, specifically in Buffalo, the middle of the field will have a different wind than like an end zone. Like the end zone would have like a swirling wind, or like the other side of the end zone will have like a north wind, like south wind. So like each part of the stadium was having different types of winds that whole game.
That's weird.
So Tyler Bass, like where they were warming up was like the middle of the field, or like where like his net was, is like closer to like the 40, the 30 of the minus.
Yeah.
So they're going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And then he gets out there and he was expecting, like just to hit a straight shot because it looked like there's no wind.
Yeah.
And then it just hooked right like crazy.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah, I saw the clip of it, and I was just like,
yeah.
It was like the Ohio State Georgia playoff game to go to the Natty a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
He just like completely tops it. And it just tumbles. I'm like, dude, that thing didn't even go airborne.
Oh yeah, no,
it literally went over the defense and landed. That was one of the most like heartbreaking things ever.
Yeah. Other news that happened was Karl Anthony Towns dropped like 44 and a half, and then Joel Embiid dropped 70.
I saw that.
It was crazy.
I saw a TikTok on it. It was like 50 points from one spot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just like for the free throw line, there's that circle. He was like within that circle with like for 50 of his points.
Yeah, and he dropped 23 points from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And then I just got a notification now. Luka, I'm pretty sure, is at 50. So he's at 57 right now.
Points?
Yeah. So he's at 57. I don't know how much time is left.
That's just stupid.
Follow fourth quarter to finish. Okay, so he's at 57 and it's the fourth quarter right now. But that's crazy.
And then that Bulls and Lakers game, that was pretty high scoring.
Yeah, it was 132 to like
146.
146, I think. And
that was a very high scoring game.
DeMar dropped like 32 and 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NBA right now it's actually looking pretty
141 to 132.
Yeah, 141, 132. Yeah, no, the NBA is looking a lot more fun to watch now. Just because you have Joel Embiid dropping 70, you have freaking Luka dropping 60 right now. Karl Anthony Towns at 44 and a half.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I might start watching more basketball games.
It's great. Like I like playing basketball. Like I love the whole sport.
Yeah.
But it's just like I never think twice to like put on a game.
Oh yeah, I know, me too. It's weird,
never think twice.
I don't know. It just like now it actually looks like it's fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna start watching it more once the playoffs roll around.
Oh yeah.
Or that's obviously the most interesting part of any sports season. So.
Yeah. Did you watch the in-season tournament?
No.
That they had?
Not one game.
Me neither.
I may have saw like half a play of a Lakers game or something.
The courts look nice though.
Didn't the Lakers win the in-season tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see like the court designs. Those are really cool. That's something that struck out to me a lot.
Yeah. I liked the Bucks. The Bucks had a really nice one.
I haven't seen the Bucks. I think I've seen like the Lakers and the Bulls.
Okay. But yeah, Bulls was nice. I didn't like the Lakers jerseys because it was like
they had in-season tournament jerseys.
Yeah, so it was like LA Lakers and it was like a triangle basically.
Let's see.
Yeah, I just didn't like how they looked. I think they were black, but they might have been.
Yeah, that's mid.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the lettering was bogus.
It's like Loss and then Angeles number and then Lakers at the bottom.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's unique. It's different, but
yeah, no, it was bogus.
I mess with them. Anyways,
yeah. New news that just like I found out like a few days ago, and I did more research on it. Is so you've heard about like you have to ice your injury, or like let's say like when you had your bone bruise or whatever, and your knee was like swollen, anybody would be like, okay, like elevate it, like the rest, elevate, ice, stuff like that. Wait, what is it? It's rest, ice, compression, elevation.
Yeah.
So they would tell you to do all that. But now there's like research now. I have sources, but like research now is saying to get away from that basically. Or not get away from it, but it's just like there's no actual effect that it has on it positively. There's no negative effect either. It just it's like it's a placebo. So all it really does is just make your skin cold, and like your nerve receptors in your brain that connect to your dermis, so your skin, so they're able to like feel they okay, my hand is cold, or like let's say I put it on my forearm and I ice for like 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, I take it off and you'll see redness. So that area, so that dermis area, it'll get a little bit deeper into your epidermis maybe, but like just the top layers of your skin are gonna get really cold, so it'll feel like it's numb. And like you feel like something's really happening. In reality, it's not really doing anything.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty. It was crazy when I first thought about that. I was like, what? Like,
because you know what's interesting? Because obviously, like with my knee injury from football, I had bone bruising. It wasn't a tendon, muscle, skin, whatever. It was a bone. So like, you can't get more like inside of your body, you know, other than your bone.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember one time I would ice it, and then I'd get up, and like, you know how you don't move like a muscle and it gets like all like
Stiff.
tight and stiff, and then it kind of like feels worse than what it was. Like I would feel that I'd feel like, all right, this probably didn't do anything.
Yeah,
because it was just like it had to go through so many layers of my body.
Right.
And I mean, yeah. And what was the one layer you said where it was like fat?
Oh yeah, so it's the dermis, epidermis, and hypodermis.
The hypodermis. You were telling me it was just like it's really thick to get through.
Yeah, because it's a layer of fat.
Yeah.
That you have to get through, and then not even that. Like to get through that, you have like this like web-like connection. That's so it's like really tightly wound to basically every part of your body called fascia.
Yeah.
And it's like the strength of steel.
Oh shit.
So like it's really tough to like break off and stuff like that. But you have to get through the fascia as well. And like let's say you have like inflammation in your fascia, how are you going to be able to ice that?
Yeah.
Because it's so deep down that like it's underneath your muscles and like right on top of your bones, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if you've heard of like the term plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, I actually bought plantar fasciitis insoles like a few days ago.
So you know how that hurts, right?
Yeah.
It's the fascia in like the actual like inside of your foot. And like the plantar part, it usually hurts when you're in plantar flexion, so you're like this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt when
it feels like you're tearing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I hate that.
So yeah, anytime you hear itis, it's just inflammation.
Itis?
Yeah. So like if you have like pancreatitis, appendicitis,
I don't know that. I'll remember that.
tendinitis, fasciitis, stuff like that. It just means inflammation.
Interesting.
And a lot of people have like this misconception about inflammation and swelling. Inflammation does not equal swelling, but swelling does equal inflammation. So,
swelling doesn't equal inflammation, but inflammation equals swelling.
Yeah.
So actual inflammation means swells.
So like inflammation, so basically swelling is the byproduct of inflammation.
Okay.
So inflammation, what it is that it's the muscle getting inflamed. Right. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why it's inflaming is because there's a lot of blood, like just red blood cells just pushing to it. And then the byproduct, so like the waste that happens is the swelling, if that makes sense. So the inflammation is the process of like the blood flow getting there.
Yeah.
And then swelling is the byproduct of how do I describe it? Like the waste of what just happened.
Right.
So if you try to like and you see swelling, then you know inflammation already occurred.
Yeah.
That's why you take as soon as you get hurt and like you feel like something's about to start swelling, or like let's say I broke my thumb or like I jammed it really bad.
Yeah.
And it starts to swell, or I feel like it's starting to swell. You'll take an anti-inflammatory, which what it does is what it says.
Yeah, right.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So so they also say that if you ice that area, it's considered anti-inflammatory too because it will bring down the swelling. No, not really. Yeah. So some articles that I did read it off of was the Medical University of South Carolina. Yeah, and they were saying that it's starting to, so like what it actually is doing is that it can actually delay the healing process.
Oh, so it actually is worse.
I didn't know this, but yeah.
Process.
So
not only does it might not do anything, it's like it might just
because it's talking more about like the acute injury, so acute like really locate like local spots. Like you're only able to like, let's say I have a like grade 1 strain, grade 2 strain in my quad. Yeah. So that's an acute injury because I can feel it where it hurts.
Yeah.
So if you put ice on it right now, specifically on the research that they did, they're saying that you're going to have like, it's not going to have the reverse effect, but it's going to slow down the process. Starting to make sense though, because
it makes sense because I mean, ice condenses and like cold condenses, it freezes up, it like, I don't know, I'm trying to find terms, but
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so like the inflammation, like that's the body's reaction to the injury.
Yeah.
And if you try to put ice on it, it's slowing down that reaction because of the fact that you're putting cold stuff on it, regardless if it's on your like skin, like whatever. If you put it on your like acute injury or whatever, and like how do I say it? Like it not freezes, but like it makes your skin cold.
Yeah.
But underneath, your physiological response is going to be a lot slower because when you think about it, when you're in the cold and like you're trying to run, you're running in like -4-degree temperature, you're going to be a lot more stiff.
Yeah.
It's the same thing inside your body, is that if you're going to shock it with cold, no matter what, every immune response that you're going to have in your body's physiological response is going to be really slow in your body. So
when did they come out with this study?
2020. So this was September 2022.
I feel like this should have been found much earlier.
Oh yeah, it's just so how research works is that they'll find out, like they'll make a hypothesis.
Yeah.
So like for them it was the actual understanding of what ice does to acute injuries, and their hypothesis was, so they have two hypotheses. It's a null and an alternative. So the null means like you want to reject it.
Okay.
If you reject the null, then that means that what's it called? The experiment was true. So the null hypothesis is that ice actually repairs it has anti-inflammatory properties to it. And then the alternative was obviously the opposite.
Yeah.
So then they finally rejected the null hypothesis by doing actual research and experimentation.
Yeah.
I don't know what research or like experiments they actually did. But I'm assuming what they did was like they have like voluntary subjects, human subjects, with injuries. So probably in South Carolina, like the school, and then they do like a 6-week training program where they would do ice for that injury and then work out, or like they would have like an active recovery program, something like that. And then they finally concluded that that's what ended up happening, is that athletes that had that ice program, they wanted to have a longer recovery time compared to the people that had the active recovery.
So did they find anything that actually speeds up the process?
As of right now, the best thing that you can do for injuries is active recovery. So like if I, like for example, if I pulled my hamstring, what you have to do is you go to see the trainer or whatever, but you exercise that muscle. Like,
so you get blood pumping to the
exactly
injury.
What like now that you starting to get like the physiological response, the more blood you send to it, the faster it's going to respond, and the stronger you make the muscles around it, the more it's going to try to compensate, and the more blood is going to flow there. So that's that's right now what the best like recovery plan is. Just do active recovery, mobile recovery.
Yeah.
Heat So like heat right now is also really good too because it's an alternative to a warm up. Like if you're too injured to actually do an actual warm up, like on the bike, treadmill, dynamic warm up, something like that, you can throw a heat pack on, and then that muscle will be warm.
Yeah, because it raises your body temperature. Yeah.
So like
that's crazy.
Instead of stretching, so like dynamic warm up, when I'm like literally doing like 10-yard like stretches while I'm walking and then jogging and then sprinting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can throw on a heat pack. It's not going to be as effective, but it'll get you warm enough to get through the day for rehab. And if you're not able to do it, that's the best alternative.
That's crazy.
So then so how it works, like progression wise, is like if you can't walk on it or like it hurts too bad to do an actual warm up, you'll do heat. Then the progression after that is to go into a hot tub or like any type of water and then do aquatic therapy. So that's more like lower extremity injuries. So like calf injuries, hamstring injuries, glute injuries, quad injuries, stuff like that. And then you'll just do an actual dynamic warm up inside of the pool. Then you can go into an actual warm up.
Yeah.
So that's the progression. But
that's crazy.
Ice is so. I still don't think that. Me personally, I don't think that it has like the terrible effect of like it'll actually slow down the recovery process by that much.
Yeah.
Where it's like detrimental. I just think that it's a placebo. What other like studies have also been saying.
Yeah.
Is that it's a placebo where if you like to do ice and it makes you feel better, then do it.
Yeah.
But if you just want to you don't really see the point of it, don't do it. There's no point.
Right.
So like for me, for example, if I am sore, ice bath is the go-to. I'll do an ice bath.
Yeah.
Because it still makes you feel like refreshed and good to go.
Yeah.
Because you have a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
If you shock your nervous system, it'll make you feel like the fight or flight response, and then you'll feel better.
Yeah.
For that like time when you do the cold tub. So that's different than, but yeah, it's a placebo. So if you think that it helps you, do it.
Yeah.
That's what placebo means. It's like the sugar pill example. If you give somebody, like let's say they have a headache, you give somebody acetaminophen and then you give someone a sugar pill, and you tell both the control group and the experimental group that they're taking an acetaminophen, both of them will have the same exact response and like, okay, my head feels better. So that's what the placebo effect is that you feel like you did something good for it and your head feels better.
Yeah, it's just a mental game thinking, oh, I took this one thing to help this problem. Now your mind playing tricks on you that fixed.
Right.
So
yeah, placebo effect is crazy.
Yeah, I think after knowing that that study, that completely changes a lot of things on how people actually treat their injuries, which is nuts. But I still think like just cold environments, like cold plunge, ice bath,
I still think they're good for your health.
Oh, 100%. I think just more mentally though.
Yeah.
Than physically.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that's one thing. It's discipline and courage to even get up and do that.
Yeah.
First of all, and then also, it's just fighting through it as well.
Yeah, it's like it wakes you up. It's that the fight or flight response you're gonna get regardless.
Yeah.
So I think mentally, it's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
If you want the best, I wouldn't say immune response, but like the best physiological response to wake up, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
But it's not the end all be all for injuries, specifically acute injuries. You have to do actual like rehab therapy, anything that you can do to get it better.
Yeah.
Strengthen the muscles around it, loosen the muscles around it, promote blood flow, not try to get rid of blood flow.
Yeah.
Because the more you try to get rid of that blood flow, the longer it's going to take to actually recover.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
The reason why people say like ice or whatever is because you feel better at that time because your skin's cold and you feel numb.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But like, it sucks because it hurts. But if it didn't hurt, then it would also be detrimental because then you'll keep trying to play on it and it'll get even worse. So, I think like sucking up through the pain is probably the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, not saying go back on the field, but like, you really don't need ice. Just like try to push yourself during rehab and stuff like that. That's the best way to get back on the field, court, whatever it is, as fast as possible.
Yeah, 100%. What time are we at? 20 minutes already. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But see, if I knew that, because I remember like after practices, because I remember junior year, after I was already told I couldn't play for the rest of the season, I'd have to just go to all the practices.
Yeah.
And I'd pretty much be like everybody's bitch.
Hey, go do this for me. Go do that for me.
Yeah. Like, bro, this sucks. And then I'd just go home afterwards. And then like just do homework, get on the game. But then while I'm on the game, I just have a big ass ice pack on my knee, just like wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I just had to sit on it. And I was like, oh, this feels good. And then I take it off, and then
you
like
feel super stiff.
Yeah, I feel stiff, and then like my knee hurts, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'd be super confused.
Yeah, no, that's caused more from like joint pressure.
Yeah.
So like you would put it under the back of your knee or in front of your knee. You remember?
Both.
Okay. So then that, and then with the compression, so you got to think of your joint like I would say ball bearings on a car. I would say more like I would say ball bearings on a car. If they're not lubricated, what happens to them? Yeah. They start stiffening, and then like you start getting a lot of problems with the car itself, and you start hearing creaking noise and stuff like that. It's the same thing with your joints. Yeah. If they're not lubricated or like
no blood flow,
or like you're cutting off, like you have blood flow restriction by actually doing compression to it, you'll start feeling the stiffness, then like you'll feel like the cracking, which is just adhesions breaking apart. Then you're gonna be like, oh, like let me break off the adhesions. It's gonna take a while for it to actually get back to normal. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. The body itself is like really complicated and crazy.
Yeah, there's so many like you threw me like 8 new words that I've never heard of before.
Oh yeah,
already, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, no, I'm learning some stuff in organic chemistry on like some types of how peptide bonds attach and how they break apart.
What's a peptide bond?
So proteins, right? They are connected with amino acids, right? So like what proteins essentially is a really long chain. Like you can look it up. It's a huge chain of amino acids that create like a helix, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
With like beta pleated sheets, and it sheets off, and then the protein binds to certain parts of the muscle, stuff like that, right? But if you break it down, each protein has the same type of bondage. So like you'll have NCC, so it'll have a nitrogen that's positively charged with a carbon group and a carboxylic acid group. Okay. So it'll be nitrogen with hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. So it'll be 3 hydrogens and then another bond to that carbon. So then that nitrogen is going to be positively charged. And then you're going to have the carbon in the middle. That's what makes it different. Like that's what makes an amino acid different, is that this carbon can have multiple functional groups on the both top and bottom. Okay. It can be like lysine, stuff like that. Then you get to the third and last one. The third and last carbon, it's a double bonded oxygen at the top, and then a OH at the bottom that can easily like break off. So how to connect them is you do like a nitrogen response, or like a nitrogen reaction. So the carbon chain from the opposite side is gonna snap onto that nitrogen, and then one of the hydrogen pops off. So it's still positively charged technically, but it's not gonna it's deprotonated, which means that like the proton left.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now you like just imagine that with like thousands and thousands of like those types of NCC bonds. Yeah. That's what creates an amino acid, and then that's what creates protein.
That's so weird, bro.
Yeah.
Who was bored enough to learn all that shit?
Oh, bro, me, I guess.
No, I'm not like learn it, but like discover that.
You know? Yeah. And then they do like they do these testing, so it's called NMR. Okay. It's basically MRI. So something resonance image.
Mirror.
Magnetic resonance image.
So I had an MRI. Yeah. I was low-key tripping too.
Oh, bro.
Because the lady was like, "You're not claustrophobic." I was like, "Oh, absolutely not."
Yeah, you get into that, bro.
And then like when you like she start moving you into that tube, bro, and there's like less than a foot away from every part of your body, you're like,
yeah,
He's like low-key start tripping.
Bro, and it's like, bro, you just like laid in a giant magnet. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But the NMR system, or like what would it say? What would I say? Like machine?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as an MRI, but for molecules. So like I'll have a liquid sample of TSM, which is like the sample they have to put in, and it will show you like the actual like pure sample. And then you put in a little bit of your unknown sample that you're trying to like identify. So for example, my professor was explaining like how during her undergrad at one of the schools, they had a grad student that was working with the NMR machine, and they were trying to figure out the molecule for Alzheimer's.
Oh, sure.
So they used that machine, but like it's so magnetic and it's like it was super strong. It had 900 megahertz. So they had to leave their credit cards, they had to leave their phones, they had to leave anything metal outside of the room.
What would have happened if it was in there with them?
It's like so it's the same thing with MRIs, where you can't have like a pacemaker, like you can't have pacemakers, no metal, stuff like that. Yeah. It's because like it's magnetic. It's not gonna actually like lift you up and like connect you to it, but the magnetic field is so strong they can cause disruptions to the actual metal. So that's why it's detrimental for specifically pacemakers.
That's true.
But
yeah, my dad has a bunch of stents in his heart.
Yeah.
So
if I don't know about stents, but like if it's an actual pacemaker itself.
Do you know what stents are made out
of? It depends, cause like depends on when you got the surgery.
Let's learn.
Because there's multiple. It's like with ACLs, there's different techniques. You have a bare technique. You have an allograft technique. You have a homograft technique.
So leak-proof polyester with metal mesh.
Yeah. So the metal mesh, you got to think of it like it connects like this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then it expands and moves all the cholesterol outside of it pushes it to the outside.
Yeah. So so basically what it does, it tries to like make sure that the atherosclerosis that is already there doesn't get worse than it already is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just yeah.
But yeah, like the NMR, bro, we have one at our school. It's I think 300 megahertz, but it's in the basement and it's locked in a room because it has to have like certain temperatures.
Yeah.
Or like it has to be in a certain condition. It has to be in the basement of a room or like a really low level where it's level plane, no vibrations. It has to be like somewhat cold in there. But it's pretty cool because you can identify the functional groups and like how they attach and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, these freaking stents are crazy.
Yeah. Bro, look how expensive the NMR machine is. Look up
NMR.
Yeah, look up 300 MHz NMR.
NMR
price.
Machine price. Ooh, it's like 150K.
Yeah. So the one that's 900, I'm like the 900 megahertz, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 million.
Wait, hold on, let me see. How much does it? Are you sure 2 million? Not 16 million?
16?
That's what it's saying here.
For the 900?
Yeah, how much does a 900 MHz NMR cost?
Yeah, if it's 16 million, it's around 16. There. Yeah.
15 tons is the weight.
Yeah, it's
like
a
16 feet tall.
It's a huge machine.
It's nuts.
Yeah. But like to work it, like me, like as an undergrad, I'm not allowed to work it because it's so expensive. 1 and 2, it's easy to use, but it's hard to analyze right then and there.
Yeah.
So we don't have to actually do NMR, so it makes our life easier.
There's a 401 for 70K. That's crazy, the difference in price. I think this one's like, it's used, but like 400 is like 70K, but to go to 900 is like millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's because like the 400 is like it's not as big.
Yeah.
And it's also so like the megahertz, it just makes the processing faster. Think of it like your computer, for example, right? The bigger it is, or like the more complex it is, the faster your speeds are going to be, right? It's the same thing with NMRs.
Yeah. Especially the size difference too. I mean the 900's like 16 feet tall.
Bro, the 900, you have to have it like it has to have its own like floor plan. It's like nothing else can be in that like
That level.
That level. So,
That's
for example,
wild.
UIC has one. UIC has one, and it's like in like this, like how they were describing it was that it's in this area of like UIC where it's like not the best looking building, but when you go inside, there's a spot where you have to like put all of your metal stuff, and then you go to the basement, and the whole basement is like this big basement, high ceilings, and then you look all the way in the corner. That's that NMR machine, and like the rest of the thing is like everything else is just like there's nothing there. It's crazy.
Just one big floor room,
just for one machine, a $16 million machine.
That's so stupid.
Yeah,
it's crazy what it does, but it's so stupid.
And how expensive it is. Yeah. Welcome to medicine.
Yeah.
Anything in medicine is expensive.
That's all you, bro. That's all you. Have fun.
But yeah, anything in medicine is expensive. If you get an MRI, it's expensive. A CT scan's expensive. X-rays is expensive.
MRIs, that was crazy when I had to go get mine. Because I was like, I was chill. I was like, oh, yeah, I can. Then they like strap you down.
Did you have to put your head in it, or was it for your leg?
No, it's for my knee.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I was getting closer, but, like, it was inching.
And you're like, it's like at your chest.
I was like, so if I'm laying down, right, here's like my head and I'm facing up, and like the edge of it was here. So my head probably got to like here. Yeah. And I was like, all right, can we stop? Because I was like, no, I'm not claustrophobic, but like when you're in that,
it's really like a really tight space.
It's like trippy. Like that was like one of the things that like tested my claustrophobia. I was just like, bro, this is a little tight. And then
but what's it called? So when they strapped you down, they had like the little the thing,
like some padding or something.
The padding, they strapped it down, and then they put sandbags over your leg to make sure it doesn't move. Yeah,
it was weird though because I like felt it too, because you feel like just like the magnetic energy just going through your knee.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this kind of feels weird.
It's the because what it looks for, it's a soft tissue, right? But it looks at the magnetic of like the water cells inside of your tissues. That's why it's such a really good view of everything in there. Yeah, because it looks at like the metal content inside your blood. Basically, that's what it uses. That's why you
like
can kind of feel
iron and stuff.
Yeah, because iron's metal.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I know that.
Iron, magnesium.
Yeah, she was
stuff like that.
And then the lady was like, "It's gonna get loud in there, so put on these headphones. Is there a genre of music you like to listen to?" And I was just like,
he said, "Bro, Chicago drill."
I was like, anything from O Block specifically, please. Nah, she was like, I have like, I don't know, it was like jazz, country, pop, or whatever. I was like, give me country. So I was just listening to like the most underground, like not good country music ever, bro.
Yeah.
While I was just and I'm just feeling my knee like just
getting zapped.
Yeah, bro. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, imagine that but flipped. I had to get mine done for my brain.
Yeah.
I remember
they'd have to put me under for that.
I was young, so I was like really young at the time. And so I went in there, right? And they're like, so you could choose either you want to listen to music or do you want to watch a movie? So I said, let's watch Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I was watching Kung Fu Panda, and like it's like a screen in the back.
Oh, that's cool.
And while I'm watching, you just hear like all around it. And they're like, press the button if you need us. I pressed the button like 5 times, bro. And I was just like, is this supposed to be this loud? They're like, yeah, stop moving. I was like, okay.
Stop moving. That's crazy.
Yeah, I fell asleep during my last MRI for my shin when I broke it. So I fell asleep during it, but I kept like moving. So they had to like strap me down with sandbags and everything because I just kept moving.
Yeah.
And then they like tapped me to wake me up, and they're just like, hey, you keep moving, so we're going to put some sandbags on your legs. I was like, all right, cool.
All right. Yeah, do it. Okay. Damn. I don't know how much. I didn't know MRI scans were that much.
Yeah.
$400 to $3,500 or more per scan.
Yeah.
$400 to $12,000.
For what?
For an MRI scan.
Yeah.
That's so around stupid.
There. But
that's so dumb.
It's welcome to medicine, like I said.
No. That's just statutory rape right there. That's financial rape right there.
142 to 136. Dallas versus Atlanta. Let's see how much Luka got right now. All right, so Luka got.
Who's that one guy?
73.
73
with 36 seconds left. He went 25 of 33, which is actually really good. 8 of 13 from the 3, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. So yeah, 73, 10, and 7. What a freaking stat line.
That's wild.
But everyone else on his team, 21, 9, 2, and 9. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's hogging all that shit.
Yeah. Even though he has 7 assists, though.
Yeah.
So he almost had a triple-double with 73 points.
That's wild. Is Trae Young any good this year? Is he kind of washed?
I haven't really been, keeping up. But let's check.
See his stats on that game.
Yeah, let's check.
I feel like he was like hyped for a few years, and then he kind of.
Yeah, Trae Young was tough.
I don't hear anything about Trae Young anymore.
Trae Young dropped 27, 11, and 1.
All right.
That's actually not bad.
Nah.
He's averaging. Let me get his averages up. So he's averaging 26.9, 3, and 11. So he's averaging a double-double.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, he's second in assists in the league on with his average.
Oh.
Yeah, with 27 points a game.
That's not bad.
His 3-point percentage is terrible though. Today he's 16.7% from the 3 with a 47% field goal. So 47 is not bad, but the 16 is outrageous.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything in medicine, bro, is crazy expensive.
Yeah, I can't. No. If my kids ever need an MRI scan, it's coming out of their birthday money.
Yeah, or just get insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
Even with insurance, bro, they be doing you bogus.
Hell yeah.
Not just medicine itself, but the education for medicine is expensive.
Yeah.
Right now, they just updated the prices for their yearly tuition for med school, and I was looking at the private DO schools, which is I don't know how to describe what DO is compared to FD, but right now I think it's $85K a year. So by the time you're out, you're almost half a million in debt. So you got to pay back $500K. Unless you work for a nonprofit, then they give you loan relief.
That's true.
Or debt relief, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you pay that shit off quick though.
Not the $500K.
Well, you'll pay it off though. Think about it. There's people that will probably pay off a lower amount of debt in a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Than what doctors make, because they make crazy stupid money.
Actually, it's crazy. It depends on the doctor.
That's true. Brain surgeons.
Brain surgeons, bro. Brain surgeons, I think they're making $1 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you become a brain surgeon, you got $500K in debt, you're good, bro.
Yeah, you're straight. But if you look at it, doctors don't really make that much money. It sounds outrageous to say.
Not like they used to.
It's outrageous to say, but if you listen to the actual salaries that they have compared to the debt,
yeah,
it's probably the one. It's really they're underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, orthopedic surgeons, I want to say they're underpaid, but they make $750 if they specialize.
Mm-hmm.
On average, six. And so if they don't specialize, it's more $500 to $650. So they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then if you look at primary care, which means the regular doctors that you see at clinics,
mm-hmm.
they only make $200 to $250, not even. Pediatricians make $150 to $200.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then imagine trying to pay back $500K.
It's
And
I feel if you're making $250 or $300 a year,
it's still
you could still pay that off.
Yeah, it's still I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
but it's just all of your bills are gonna be going to the loans, plus house, utilities, car, stuff like that. It just feels
once you get past the loan or the debt,
then you're living. But you also got to think about it like this: is so after the 4 years of med school, unpaid, then you get to residency, which is 4 years usually. Depends on the program, but 4 years residency, and hourly wage, you're not even making you're making under minimum wage hourly, because they only make 65 to 70 a year for your first 4 years. And then after that, then that's when you have when you make an attending physician salary, then that's when it's up there. But during your residency, you'll be working for example, for on-call surgeons, they'll be working 80 to 120 hours a week, and they'll be making $65K. So that averages out to $8 an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Hey, man.
But hey, best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. But yeah, it's also really competitive to get into.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Nothing you can't handle.
Yeah, nothing I can't handle.
Yeah. Well, I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
All
It was
right.
a good rant.
Yeah. It's gonna do it. Like, subscribe, comment.
We'll try to get some short form stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. This weekend coming up, there's probably not gonna be anything, except for this video. Our software was not making any clips of last week's video. I don't know why, but we're gonna try and get some clips out for next weekend of this video. So see y'all next week.
Peace.